You've got your red Solo cup, you're gluten-free, and you're heading to your favorite cookout this summer. Now, have you thought about making sure that what's in that Solo cup is actually gluten-free? Not everything is going to be safe, and inside this video, we're going to break it down so you can make sure that your red Solo cup is ready to lift you up this summer. When we think about gluten, we think of things like bread and pasta and all those other things that are very standard filled with gluten. Something that is often overlooked, especially when you're new to the gluten-free diet, is the drinks in your hand. There are plenty of drinks out there that do not contain gluten. But for a little bit, let's focus on the drinks that do contain gluten, because that's where a lot of people get tripped up in the summer, especially when they're just reaching for an ice cold beverage from a cooler when they're at their favorite summer party. From flavored cocktails to beers, there's a lot to watch out for. First, I have to start out with a reminder that gluten isn't just wheat, and that is something that is so often forgotten or missed when you are starting on the gluten-free diet. It's easy to go to a label and be like, oh, it's wheat-free. But gluten is actually wheat, barley, and rye and combinations thereof. And what is one of the number one ingredients in beer? Barley. Yes, so beer is going to be the first place we need to start looking when it comes to trying to find a gluten-free beverage if that's your go-to drink of choice. Even those fancy hazy beers, homemade beers, things like that, most of these are still using barley as their main ingredient, so it's important to start to look for the gluten-free logo. Some of them are going to come from small breweries, maybe local breweries. They might not be going through the process to even consider adding a gluten-free logo onto it. So you're going to have to do some research prior to going to your cookout to make sure you know what beers are gluten-free, what is safe to drink, and definitely bringing your own so you know that it is already certified gluten-free and there's no questions on the label that you need to start scanning. Moving on from beer. Inside of mixed drinks, things like malt are so common inside of these drinks. Think hard lemonades. Those often have malt as a main ingredient or one of the top ingredients, and malt is not gluten-free. Give this video a like if malt has tripped you up more than once or you had no idea that that was something to look out for. It is so important to pay attention to that ingredient, especially when it comes to drinks in the summer. If you see malt beverage anywhere on the label or you check the ingredients and you see malt inside the ingredients, that is a red flag to put the drink back and walk away. These drinks are super misleading because on the outside they look gluten-free. They don't have wheat in them, barley is not the base, and malt isn't necessarily something that is considered gluten-filled. But when you actually do the research and you dig in, you begin to realize that a lot of these drinks have ingredients that are not safe. Along with that, natural flavors is something else to watch out for. If you've never paid attention to drinks and looked for the ingredient list, so many of them out there have natural flavors in them. What is natural flavors? Natural flavors is a way to indicate that there's a bunch of different flavors that go into the drink, and there is no need to require exactly what ingredients are inside of those natural flavors. That's part of the labeling system inside the US, and it's important to know that natural flavors are never going to be considered gluten-free. So anytime you see a drink that lists natural flavors, it's a take it with your own risk situation. Likely it's not going to be gluten-free. It may be gluten-free, but chances are you should steer away and go another direction. Anytime it comes to pre-made drinks, always, always, always do your research. I love the Fig app because it's something you can just grab your phone, you can scan it, and you get your answers right then and there. It will call out the natural flavors in the ingredients, and it will tell you that it's probably not safe. Mixed drinks, hard lemonades, hard ciders, things like that, all of them are things to keep an eye out for because they may contain gluten, they may not. It all depends on how they're made, what the base of the drink is, and what flavorings are added into it. The tricky part about these drinks is a lot of times the entire ingredient label is not put on the packaging. So it's really, really important to make sure that you've done your research ahead of time, you've scanned it, and you look for something that says gluten-free on the label. Yes, it feels silly to look for a gluten-free drink, but it's so much better to be safe than sorry, especially when you look at all the ingredients that could be going into these drinks or the base of these drinks that could make you sick in the long run. It's not just the alcohol that's a problem, it's the gluten that becomes a quick problem in the summers. Inside of my ebook, Going Gluten-Free Summer Cookouts, we not only talk about drinks, but we also talk about having conversations with the hosts and other people at the party so that you can make sure that your drinks and your food are safe for gluten-free. It's available for you to download in the description of this video, so don't miss it because it's very helpful when you get started on all of your summer parties and cookouts. For now, let's talk about what's safe. We've talked about what's not safe and what things to start to look for on ingredient labels. This is a safe starting list, but always, no matter what you do, check the ingredient labels when you get started because things can change in processing, things can get added in. This is just a base list of what to look for if you're looking to enjoy an adult beverage at parties this summer or even a non-alcoholic beverage at parties this summer. Comment drinks below if you're ready for a list of safe drinks to drink this summer. Gluten-free hard seltzers are a great go-to for summer beverages. They're easy to find in stores. A lot of people will look out for them. And if they're made from apples and pears, there's a good chance that that base is going to be safe for you. There's not going to be added ingredients like wheat, barley, rye, things like that. The one thing to look out for is, well, you guessed it, malt. Just make sure to scan it with your favorite gluten-free app or go on the drink's website to make sure that it is gluten-free. As long as you see that certified gluten-free label, you're good to go. Another safe drink that a lot of people will go to is wine. Wine oftentimes will not contain gluten because there's not usually added flavors to different kinds of wine. As always, do your research, but you should be safe to be able to find wines very easily that are gluten-free and safe for you to drink. Now, if you're looking for the hard stuff, distilled alcohols such as rum, tequila, gin, and plain vodka are always good go-tos when it comes to gluten-free alcoholic beverages. Now, the one thing you do need to watch out for is any ingredients that may have been added post-distilling. So while the original hard alcohol is safe, any ingredients or flavorings that have been added may or may not be gluten-free. So again, as the theme of this video tells you, always do your research. Now, if you're someone who likes to go enjoy a party and not have an alcoholic beverage in hand, hey, that's me. Some different options that are safe for you are lemonades, sparkling waters, iced teas, and even some pops or sodas, depending on where you live, are safe to drink. Here's the thing. All of those in their basic form are safe to drink, but there are flavorings that can be added in. There's things like a strawberry lemonade, which might have, you guessed it, natural flavorings in it. Same things with pops or sodas, whatever you call it. Those a lot of times have added natural flavors to it. So as usual, do your research, but those in the base form, or if you make them at home or make them on your own, fresh squeezed lemonade, who can go wrong with that, is a great way to still enjoy a party, have a drink in your hand, fill your cup, but also keep yourself safe. If you're having an adult drink or skipping the alcohol, there's plenty of ways to raise your glass and still have a gluten-free summer. If you're going to an event and you're not sure what's going to be served, BYOB. It's so common these days for people to show up at parties with their own drinks. Most people won't be offended by it, and you're just playing it safe. Grab a Stanley and fill it up. You're good to go. You'll have your own drink that's safe for the party, and you don't have to deal with lots of people having lots of questions about what kind of drink you're drinking. Gluten-free living doesn't mean missing out. You can still enjoy your summer, having an adult drink, not having an adult drink. There's plenty of ways to attend a cookout this summer and still have a beverage with your friends without having tough conversations, being judged, and still being gluten-free. Now that your drink is sorted out, don't miss our next video where we're going to talk about making your plan for a summer cookout so you can go enjoy yourself and not have to worry about gluten for the entire day.